The topic of my presentation is investigation on the printability of specialty papers for luxury labels, and it is a result from a collaboration between the University of Chemical Technology and Metallurgy Sofia and Rotoprint printing house Ravno, Bulgaria. Specialty luxury label papers mainly are result from the search for all that stimulates our creativity and senses. They are from papers that awaken the desire to create as a magnificent mixture of texture and color that elevates luxury packaging to a category of art and a brilliant collection that ultimately shows the luxury packaging really is. In order to achieve the desired complex effect on the customer with its combined impact through the texture, color of the paper and graphic design for each manufacturer of luxury labels, it is undoubtedly essential to be familiar with the printability of the paper used. It is essentially important for the production as well as for the awareness of the designers working in this field to know the specifics of these papers, to know the main indicators influencing their printability, to know all the facts allowing the right choice for printing technology and finishing processes. The aim of the present work was to study the main properties of the commonly used papers for printing of self-adhesive labels in view of their printability. To achieve this goal, various properties of 5 types of papers have been determined. First, the composition of the papers, then the structural and dimensional properties, after that the hygroscopic properties, the strength properties, and optical properties. In addition, a printing sample have been made with different types of printing, offset, UV, flexo, UV, screen, cold foil, hot foil, thick foil, and converting, emboss, laser cutting, laser and graphing techniques. The printability of each paper sample was visually evaluated on the basis of the reproduced printed elements. The obtained more than 20 printed samples have different combinations of printing and converting techniques. In Rotoprint, to maintain an excellent printing quality, a spectrophotometric calibration is done periodically on every 6 months, by which a calibration curves are constructed for each sample and the results are embedded in the press software. For the extensive characterization of the studied 5 types of papers for self-adhesive labels, a variety of laboratory analyses were performed followed by printing samples, on the basis of which the connection between the properties of the papers and their printability was considered. Based on the conclusions of the research, new designer wine labels have been made, which have been printed and processed using various printing and finishing techniques. The first part of our investigations was focused on the fiber content of the examined papers. The first figure shows the microscopic analysis of pure cotton paper. It is visible that this type of paper consists 100% natural cotton fibers, which under the chlorine zinc iodine indicator are stained in pale to intensive pink-red color and have the typical natural cotton morphology. The results of the microscopic analysis of Symposium paper are presented in the second figure. The fibers of this type of paper have the typical for bleached fibers materials of coniferous and deciduous wood species, blue to violet coloring under the used indicator. Regarding the specific type of tree species, the figure shows that this paper consists of bleached softwood cellulose from spruce wood and bleached hardwood cellulose from poplar wood. The composition of Blizzard paper is multi-component, which is clearly outlined by the heterogeneous picture presented in the first figure. This paper consists of not more than 5% natural cotton fibers, softwood cellulose from spruce wood, and two types of hardwood cellulose from poplar and beech. Predominant in the composition of the paper is the cellulose from poplar wood in the range of 50%. The microscopic analysis of the fourth type of paper, organdier, is presented in the second figure. This paper consists of small amount of natural cotton fibers, not more than 10%, and bleached softwood cellulose from spruce wood and bleached hardwood cellulose from beech wood, with the predominant cellulose content of the coniferous species. On this figure is presented the microscopic analysis of Velin caviar paper. This is the paper with the largest variety of types of cellulose fibers materials used. It consists of about 10% natural cotton cellulose, 40% softwood cellulose of two wood types, spruce and pine, in a ratio 1:1, and hardwood cellulose from two species of wood, poplar and beech, again in a ratio 1:1, with a total content of 50%. The paper properties investigations was the second part of our work, and the results are presented in this table. The investigated papers are with a basic weight in the range of 90 to 100 grams per square meter and thickness between 0.09 to 0.16 millimeters, but most interesting are the results for the density and porosity of the papers because they have bigger deviations, which means that even at similar basic weight, papers probably will have different ability of embossing and engraving during the converting processes. The smoothness of the paper is the most important characteristic of the paper for the engraving printing, which means that most suitable could be Blizzard paper. From the COP analysis, it is seen that Blizzard paper has the optimal for the offset printing COP values around 22 grams per square meter, and we could expect excellent offset printability followed by the pure cotton paper. The strength properties are independence to the nature type of the fiber material and to the variety of the fiber content of the paper. More cotton fibers means enhanced strength, while bigger fiber variety ensures closed and evenly formed paper structure and fiber distribution. From the optical properties is seen that paper Blizzard and organdier are more or less the same, and they could be used for similar labeling purposes. The last part of our investigation was focused on the printability of the papers connected with the results from the fiber content of the papers and their properties. Pure cotton is suitable for full cover offset printing, featuring that the color density provided by the technology itself is not maximum. It also has an exceptional effect on the reproduction of elements and stroke with screen printing. The absorbency of this paper combined with the porosity is so great that in fact highly pigment inks such as silver and gold bronze are almost absorbed in depth and are purely reproduced. This paper has an exceptional, pleasant to be touched texture, which is actually evident from the measurement of its smoothness. This quality makes it suitable for wine labels with clean designs. From the samples made, it was found out that the perception of the hot foil is excellent, even the thin jewelry inscriptions and serifs are reproduced with high quality. The new silk foil reproduced very well and behaved stable through printing. From the printed samples was found out that at minimal pressure of the working section, the paper is easily torn, even the substances is slightly cracked. This makes the paper not very suitable for embossing technology, not only for the reproduction in Rotoprint, but also for many other productions, which is provided by the strength properties showing lower values of tensile, tear, and burst resistance. The quality of embossing could be judged by other indicators such as porosity. Pure cotton is the most porous of all the papers investigated, 58%, which in combination with its weak strength properties can lead to problems in embossing irregularly shaped labels. Excellent reproduction of the full-color offset printing was established from the printed samples made on Symphonia paper. When printing on this paper, the color density is higher, which might be due to its slight yellowness, but mostly is proven both visually and by measuring the optical properties of the tested papers. A disadvantage is the reproduction of slightly torn and sometimes slightly judged strokes in screen printing, which is largely due to the roughness of the paper. Smoothness of the top side, about 2 seconds, was measured. The reproduction of very thin elements with the silk and hot foil technologies is very good, but there is a difference in the dense areas where the texture of the material can be seen. This is not always negative. In fact, it can actually be a desired effect by the designer. Upon careful evaluation on the printed and converted samples, we concluded that with this type of paper, the embossing is of excellent quality, which is predictable from the results of the examined parameters noted in the above table due to its high porosity, 57%, and very good strength properties. It is well known that when the porosity of the paper is high and it is with higher plasticity, it is a prerequisite for excellent embossing. At first glance, Blizzard is a typical offset paper with fine feeling surface touch with a very good printability, which makes it widely used in the label industry. From the printed samples, the exceptional quality of the full color offset and flexo printing was established with high optical density and well-fixed colors, even overflow and very good screen printing. Reproduction of thin, even jewelry elements as well as dense areas with silk, foil and hot stamping technologies are flawless. All these properties are due to the excellent combination of properties that this paper has due to the variety of fiber materials in its composition and the uniform structure of the paper sheet both on the surface and in the core. Blizzard is characterized by high smoothness, about 25 seconds, and compared to other types of paper studied, with the highest whiteness, optical strength, and hydrophobicity, medium to low porosity, and relatively high density. Organdia paper differs from the other studied papers with a specific rough surface structure resembling orange peel, characterized by low smoothness about 3 seconds, but on the other hand with good strength properties. This uneven surface has a negative effect on the printing of dense and very fine areas, although it does not have a high water absorption capacity, about 17 grams per square meter. The printing of strokes with screen printing techniques is uneven. There is no sharpness of the elements. A small problem occurs with dense areas with hot stamping. There is a linting on the foil elements as a result of micro irregularities on the surface of the paper. Also, preferred for silk foil technology are elements of medium size because the very thin ones are torn. In general, the reproduced colors are with high density due to the optical properties of organdia. The paper has a high whiteness thanks to the optical brightener in it. The samples made in Rotoprint shows that the emboss is optimal due to the good physical and mechanical properties of the paper despite the low porosity. Organdia paper could be widely used in the label industry as it is suitable for clean designs, those that involve mainly finishing rather than printing processes. Velin caviar paper differs significantly in color from all the paper examined so far. It is colored in suspension in D black, which was established by microscopic analysis and subsequently by engraving and laser perforation. This paper, like Blizzard, is attractive to designers because of its high smoothness and the velvety feeling of material when touched. It is characterized by the highest density of the investigated paper, 1000 kilograms per cubic meter, and has relatively good strength together with a good embossing. These properties are as a result of the balanced fiber material composition of the paper, including cotton fibers and spruce wood fibers. From the printed samples made, it is clear that this paper is not suitable for full color printing. Its absorbency is so high that even highly coated inks such as screen inks absorb into it. The only seal that is obtained is with highly pigmented gold and silver bronze, as well as screen varnish with glitter particles. All other processes such as silk foil and hot stamping and finishing are reproduced in high quality. For this reason, the application of this paper is more limited and label designers could rely mainly on finishing processes. The conclusions of this scientific work could be summarized as follows. Paper from 100% natural cotton cellulose with high porosity and low strength properties could be used for the production of wine labels with clear designs through various printing techniques without finishing processes. Paper from 100% natural bleached cellulose from soft and hardwood species with high porosity and strength could be suitable for the production of wine labels through various printing techniques with variety of finishing processes. Paper with various fiber composition, including more than 3 wood materials, also cotton fibers, with high density, low porosity, and middle water absorption properties could be suitable for the production of wine labels through almost all printing and finishing processes. Paper with various fiber composition, including more than 3 wood materials, also cotton fibers with high density, low porosity, and water absorption properties could be suitable for the production of wine labels with clean designs that involve mainly finishing rather than printing processes. Deeply dyed paper with various fiber composition, including more than 3 wood materials, also cotton fibers, with very high density, low porosity, and high water absorption capacity, could be suitable for the production of wine labels that involve mainly finishing rather than printing processes. Paper with highly developed microstructure of the surface produced through marking felt are characterized with a risk of dusting and linting through the printing and finishing processes. Thank you for your attention.